as I mentioned in a previous video, if you go on Wikipedia and you search for the best motion picture, you will notice an interesting thing. Before 2010, almost every single best motion picture is a movie that you've heard about. And if you were to watch it today, chances are you would enjoy it. You have titles like Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. You have titles like Forrest Gump, Titanic. Like many other movies that, even though they were made so long ago, they're still enjoyable today. Now, if you watch stuff that came up after 2020, you will see that you don't even recognize the names of the best motion pictures. And chances are, if you were to watch them today, they would be extremely boring. And so the reason is that the Oscars isn't actually trying to promote good movies anymore. They're trying to push ideology. They're trying to social engineer the way that movies are made in order to push for wokeness. That's what matters. And this is why their ratings are so bad. Like, the only time their ratings were good is when someone hit Will Smith gave a bitch slap to Chris Rock. And the reason that was interesting is that it's the only time in my life that I saw a man hitting another man, and the man that actually took the soccer slap is the one that was crying, and the man that got slapped was the one that was laughing. And so unless the Oscars plan to do more events like that, I think their audience are going to dwindle even further. Again, this whole shit started because some activist twats, some cheeky little shits, started shaming the Oscars for being so white. I guess they wanted to say Jewish. Again, you can't dabble with the identity part. You got to be really careful with how you phrase it. But despite the fact that black people who are getting the Oscars were 13% of the nominees and the winners, and they represent also 13% of the population, it was like literally a spot-on thing. But no, apparently that wasn't enough. And so now the Oscars require certain rules in order for people to be nominated. And look at the rules. Like, it has absolutely nothing to do with entertainment. It has absolutely nothing to do with a good movie or not. It's just pure cold-hearted religion. Like, just how Saudi Arabia has Wahhabism, which is incredibly intolerant and very aggressive towards any other ideology, Hollywood has wokeism. And it's the same thing. So one of the criterias, and this is, by the way, just to be accepted. Like, without this, you don't get accepted. This is why Sonic 3 didn't get accepted, which is what I said in the previous video. It's a good thing that it didn't get placed on the same level with all the other abortions that Hollywood created. So you need a lead or significant supporting actor from underrepresented racial or ethnic groups. How the fuck are East Asians underrepresented? Like, they have more people in China than they have white people in the United States, number one. And number two, even if you were to use this and like start representing people from these underrepresented groups, don't they become overrepresented? Because notice this, right? Like, if you have a movie that has an entirely East Asian cast, that's diverse. That gets to be nominated for the Oscars. Like, the only movie that doesn't fit is a movie that has only white people. So, like, if a bunch of white people get together and they make an independent film, they don't get nominated. Even if that's the best film ever. Now, I want you to do something. Go back to the Motion Picture Awards before 2010 and see how many movies do not fit this criteria. And again, these are movies that went around the world. Like, people from China enjoyed them, people from India enjoyed them, like famous movies. Like the Titanic, for instance, right? Like, the Titanic doesn't fit this criteria. The Titanic would not get an Oscar today. Like, it would be passed over versus other garbage and other shit. Same with Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings would not get nominated for the Oscar. Even though it's an amazing movie. Even though, right? They changed their way, and that's why you get only shit. Because the movies that are good aren't even being considered. Like, motion pictures from the past wouldn't be considered today. Fucking mental. Look at this, right? General Assemble cast. At least 30% of the actors. Who is this autistic? Who is suffering from such a mental illness to look at the percentages of people like no, seriously, like there is someone that's like looking at the, instead of like seeing, okay, is this movie creating immersion, is the story interesting, no, they're like, tell me about the cock and the pussy. Like, we're obsessed with human sexuality in America. We're really deeply invested into how people fuck. So like, we need to see what is the sexuality of your actors, and then do the percentages, crunch the math. It's like a fucking science. It's, how did this culture manage to take root? Why weren't people mocking it? But anyway, right, so apparently 30% of the actors have to be women. This is like the fuck straight men part of the inclusivity. Again, if you have a movie with only women, it's fine. If you have a movie with only gay people, it's fine. The only thing that's not acceptable is to have a movie with straight men. So like, if you have Save Private Ryan, that doesn't get nominated. It's insane. It's fucking insane. This is why you get like movies that take place in World War II or some historical thing, and all of a sudden you get to see all these race swaps and all these bizarre gender changes. By the way, the Oscars isn't the only one that has this shit. Amazon and Netflix have their own version of requirements. This is why, you know, they cast The Witcher and they can't help but race swap. Or they cast something which is already established. Like, we already know the races of the characters because they're established IPs. And then they complain, oh, you just don't like it because you're racist. No, I don't like it because of this shit. Because you're fucking racist. Again, the only type of movies that wouldn't pass are movies like Save Private Ryan, where most of the cast is straight white men. Because it's a historic reenactment. That doesn't get passed. Titanic doesn't get passed. Lord of the Rings doesn't get passed. Stargate has Teal'c, but it's not enough. Like, you would need more Teal'cs in order to pass. And so the focus, instead of creating a good movie, is like, I mean, you start looking at minorities like the spice melange. Like, without them, the movie can't flow. Creative leadership and department heads. Like, look how insane it fucking is. Who cares? Like, I still to this day do not know who made Lord of the Rings the movie. I should know, but I genuinely don't. I don't give a fuck. It's a good movie. I don't care who's the writer. I don't care. And this whole concept of underrepresented groups, they're every fucking where. Every fucking where. Like, what are you talking about? In 2025? And it makes sense, right? Because, like, without them, you can't greenlight a movie. Well, I mean, you can for the Oscars, but, like, on Netflix and Amazon, you can't. So they're literally extremely hyper overrepresented. And again, like, the thing is, it's not even about that. Like, if it makes sense, I'm fine with it. I grew up with Chinese films. I grew up with Kung Fu movies. They were made in China. They were really good. I don't even care if it's white people or not, but what I do care is this fucking ideology that's racist as fuck. Like, if you don't understand because you're a leftist, let me explain to you how I feel. One of the greatest movies that I saw was one that Eddie Murphy starred in. I really love the actor. I don't know why he's not acting anymore, but, like, in my opinion, Eddie Murphy was one of the most talented actors in Hollywood. It's just my opinion. I know maybe some will disagree, but the reason I'm saying this is that he made the movie, what was it called? The one with the Nutty Professor. Right, Nutty Professor. I think that's the name of it. And in the Nutty Professor, Eddie Murphy plays an entire black family. Like, he plays the mother, he plays the father, he plays the Nutty Professor, he plays the brother of the Nutty Professor, he plays the grandma. I think he plays like 5 people in the same movie. The makeup is astonishing. Like, they look like different people. And they're all Eddie Murphy. Like, they're sitting at a table having dinner, and all of them are Eddie Murphy. And the acting is spot on. Like, he's acting like a grandma, he's acting like a grandpa, he's acting like a father, you know, like imagine if that movie wouldn't get greenlit or wouldn't get even considered for an Oscar because it's entirely black. Wouldn't that be outrageous? I would get pissed off. I would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Why not? That's racist as fuck, right? Imagine if Bollywood or China... No, seriously, like, imagine if China had the same shit, and they would say, yeah, we're not going to cast movies that are only filled with Chinese people. Like, we need white people in our movie. How would you look towards China? I would be like, what the fuck is wrong with that country? Like, why are they thinking like that? Why can't they just make entertainment? Or if Bollywood did the same, it's like, yeah, we don't want to cast movies that have only Hindi people in it. We need Chinese people. We need Japanese in our movies. It's like, why? Because the thing is, like, I generally don't mind. Like, if a movie has minorities in it because it makes sense, go have minorities in it. If a movie doesn't, then it doesn't, right? Like, I would never watch Save Private Ryan and be like, why aren't there black people in it? Like, who fucking cares? The Predator has black people in it. I don't mind. What I would mind is if I find out that it was forced. It's like, oh, well, they had to get a guy like that. Because, like, some company was forcing them to do it. Oh, my goodness. There's more, by the way. Just look at this shit. Look, and what's interesting is that the market is telling them to fuck off. Like, a lot of movies have flopped. A lot of people are losing interest. They're turning to South Korea. Because all of this doesn't sell. You can't make art like it's a fucking assembly line. Again, if I'm making a historical film, or if I'm making something, from my own experience, right? Like, I as a Romanian, don't live in a country where we have a lot of minorities. So, like, if you were to ask me to write about a gay person, I generally wouldn't know what to write. I could imagine what it's like to be gay. I could imagine what the experience are, but it wouldn't be authentic, right? It would be just like a character that I had added in order to fit a quota. And if I do that, chances are I won't even care about the character as much. It would just be there in order to exist. And that would actually take away from the movie, wouldn't it? That would actually diminish the film. If it's a historical film, like, let's say I want to make about Romanians fighting in World War II. Well, now I need to add a black person there. Even if it doesn't make historical sense, even if it's like, I don't think there was a single black person in Romania's army during World War II. But I would have to add them, and probably I would have to add more, and some of them have to be gay, right? So fucking disgusting, man. It's just... And again, a movie like Sonic 3 didn't get in, and all jokes aside, I think it didn't get in because it would have won. I don't even know who won. I don't even care. I've been so disappointed the last couple of years from the Oscars that I'm not even watching it now. I'm not even reading the news. But yeah, like, I'm pretty sure they're more than certain that Sonic would win. And basically what it highlights is that movies that don't do this shit are more likely to be entertaining. Again, watch the movies that came out before 2010 for the Best Picture. And so they're basically trying to lie to the public that this is the only way you can make movies, or that this is somehow popular, or that this is organic, like, this is what they want to say. It's organic. It's just like the way things are going now. It's the way things moved. People voted for Trump. You don't have to do this anymore. You can stop. You can start making money again. You can start being profitable again. Just stop with this shit. No one cares about the Oscars. In fact, it's more likely, and I'm not even kidding, a lot of people from my generation are more likely to not watch a movie if it wins an Oscar. It is what it is. You can say, oh my god, that's so stupid. Maybe, but like, movies are entertainment. They're not food. Like, people don't have to buy them. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the comment section. Take care.